between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Barker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the fifth round of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries, being held at the home of British Motorsport. Alex Goldschmidt returning after a last-minute call-up alongside Martin Jones. Evening, Martin. What a great spectacle we have on our hands here this evening. The home of British Motorsport, the first ever circuit to host Formula One. 3.66 miles, 5.891 kilometers. We've got over 20 plus GT4 cars roaring around the circuit here. It's going to be a fantastic extravaganza this evening.
Yeah, good evening, Alex, and welcome back. Yes, it's going to be absolutely stonking. Silverstone, great racing circuit. As you said, 1950, I think it was the first race. Yep. And the history's just gone on, and as has the evolution of the place. I think the Bernie's wing was a bit of a brutal change because it got rid of one of my favourite corners of all time, Bridge Corner. But hey ho, things move on, and I think we're in for a great race.
Definitely. Well, first of all, before we get things truly underway here with qualifying, let's have a look at what happened last week at Indianapolis at round number 4. So in qualifying, it was Maxi Röhrig from Adrenaline Motorsports that took pole position ahead of Max Edmondson and Jack McIntyre. But Edmondson would take the victory in race 1 ahead of the German, with Jack McIntyre from 10 Tenths Sim Racing Team taking third place. But also, after a steward's inquiry, Alex Toth-Jones from the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Team in the Aston Martin Vantage would take the reverse grid race 2 victory ahead of Max Edmondson, who had a fantastic evening, and Jack McIntyre rounded off a consistent race evening last week. But in terms of the standings overall, Dave Marshall still leads, and it's a 10 tenths SRT 1-2 with McIntyre just behind on 183 points. Maxi Röhrig from Germany is not too far behind. Neither is his teammate Andreas Rillig, who is a further 30 points behind in 4th position. Tom O'Farrell from Holiday Homes Islay is on 60 kilos of ballast. Harry Omerod, the only independent in the top 10, is on 132 points, 10 points ahead of Max Edmondson. Andy Dorman, Andy Carroll, and Rob Butler round out the top 10 in the standings, and all of these drivers will be running with ballast. So let's head straight into qualifying with just over 12 minutes remaining at the moment. It is an Adrenaline E Motorsports 1-2 with Andreas Rillig ahead on a 2-minute 18.791, ahead of his teammate Maxi Röhrig in the sister BMW M4 GT4 on a 2:19.953. Don't count out Jack McIntyre. Alex Toth-Jones at the moment, though, Martin, in the MSL Aston Martin Vantage, currently rounding out the top 4. He's done a 2:23 at the minute. 19 degrees air temperature, 30 degrees centigrade track temperature. And as the track evolves over the next 11.5 minutes, we are going to see the times tumble.
Yeah, if it's anything like last week, it needs parental guidance on the certification of this. It was quite brutal. Quite glad it was virtual, and it was it Control Alt Delete or an F4 reset?
Yep. So obviously we've got Max Coates actually joining the field. Obviously, due to the current situation regarding the pandemic, Mo Ritzen's simulator has been put into self-unwanted quarantine. So Max Coates has decided to jump in at the last moment. So good to have him with us. 21 drivers so far. So we've got the likes of Kat Impey. She's racing in the fantastic livery that is also being run by Sarah Moore in the Porsche Sprint Challenge GP. She joined into racing a couple of rounds ago, and obviously for Sarah at Croft this last time out, I think it was, Martin, a good race one for Sarah, but obviously race 2 had its dramas, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a real shame for her, just getting to grips with the car, and had an unfortunate racing incident, and she was okay. Cars can be fixed, so that was the main thing. Everybody was okay, but yeah, she, up to that point, she had a stonking weekend. Great character, Sarah. Love working with her and look forward to working with her next year.
Brilliant stuff. So Butler in the Mercedes AMG GT4 in the number 74 now hits the top of the timesheet, so 2 minutes 11.871, and there is the driver himself. He is just over 0.18 seconds ahead of the 265 Adrenaline eMotorsports M4 GT4 of Maxi Röhrig. Then it is Max Edmondson. So 3 respective brands represented in the top 3 positions. With McIntyre, Dave Marshall, McIntyre's teammate, now rounds out the top 5, covered by just over, I think that is close to 0.8 of a second. There is Dave Marshall. He's a 2-time Touring Car eSeries winner here in the VRRC, and also won the Mini Challenge UK eSeries Sim Racer title. So Dave Marshall, definitely one person not to count out anyway in any respects, especially when it comes to a championship assault. As we get into the last 9 minutes, good to see the likes of Maxi Röhrig and Alex Toth-Jones making their way through the very fast parts of the circuit here, like Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel. Then you go onto the Hangar Straight all the way down to Stowe under the Silverstone Bridge, and then you've got Stowe. So let's keep with Röhrig and Toth-Jones for the minute, as they'll now go into the right-hander at Stowe. We'll go on board with Maxi Röhrig in the 265 M4. So taking as much apex as you can, running it out a little bit wide, going through into Vale, and then into the chicane. But now Röhrig and Toth-Jones decide to pit, and Röhrig, Martin, had to put on the anchors pretty quickly, didn't he, to avoid exceeding the pit lane speed limit.
Yeah, I just hope he wasn't following Alex around on a quick lap. I'll show you where I'm going. So he took him down the pit lane.
So James Merrills, James Merrills. Obviously, there was a bit of news about him this recently with regards to MSL Motorsport Consultancy, because he's now become part of the driver management program, I believe.
Yeah, delighted. If he could have success for commitment, he'll be a world champion. Super guy. Very switched on and focused. Yeah, and he's getting to grips with this car.
Yep, the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport. Looks like there's been a little bit of a moment for Paul Laramie, who I think has just had an off-track excursion. He's currently running down in 18th position. Max Coates at the minute, rounding out the top 20. Harry Omerod, not too sure what's happened with him at the moment, but he is showing down at the bottom of the timing screens, but looks to have not really set a potential competitive lap time. But Butler still keeping ahead. But look at Jack McIntyre. He's really closing in terms of the differential between what will be provisional pole will be Butler and McIntyre, split by 0.8 of a second. 80 thousandths of a second, my apology there. Then it's Röhrig, a further 118 seconds behind. There's Rich Hayden, the only person brave enough to get behind the wheel of the Mustang, the iconic Mustang GT4 that is being driven by the likes of Sebastian Priaulx with Multimatic. and run, obviously, son of three-time World Touring Car Champion Andy Priaulx, who has also had the opportunity to get behind the wheel of the legendary car with the pony for its badge. So good to see Rich Hayden flying the flag for the blue oval, and the top 10 at the moment covered by just over 1.4 seconds as we head into the final 6 minutes of qualifying. And it's looking very interesting now, Martin, because Andreas Rillig has now gone ahead of his teammate by just under 80 thousandths of a second. So McIntyre's on the bubble, trying to see if he can get one up on Rob Butler for pole position. But I think we can't count out the pair of the Adrenaline eMotorsports guys in the form of Rillig and Röhrig. But then also Max Edmondson. He's been pretty quick at Indianapolis, and he's showing the speed of the Audi here at Silverstone.
Yeah, it's great to see all the different manufacturers up there, because it was, the initial stages, it was a bit of a BMW benefit. The first couple of races they seem to be bossing it, but the other manufacturers have got to grips with the setup, etc. So good spread and close times. So
Andy Dorman, the fastest of the McLarens at the moment, he is currently 8th on a 2-minute 13.067. That puts him 1.2 seconds off of pole position. Max Coates and the number 6 Aston Martin now jumps up into 14th, just in front of the other McLaren of Tom O'Farrell, who rounds out the top 15. Tom's best time so far, a 2-minute 14.214.
Yeah, Max is just getting to grips with this. He's done a bit of practice, but he's come in last minute. But yeah, you know what Max is like. He is that terrier on the cushion. He won't let go. He's going to go for this.
Well, we did see that in season 2 of the Touring Car eSeries, where he'll just literally turn up, he'll bang in a couple of laps, and then everyone will be like going, where did that lap come from? Well, for those wondering at home, Max Coates, if you don't know him from the Renault Sport UK Clio Cup from last year, he's running a mini challenge. He's also been behind the wheel of the Infiniti Q50 when it was Help Our Heroes back in the mid-2010s, if memory serves me correctly. He got a couple of drives in the BTCC. So Max Coates, as both myself, Martin, and a few other people know, that he is no slouch, not just behind the wheel in real life, but also in the sim racing worlds. There's some great shots. A big thank you to Simply Race and Mike Yao for the fantastic angles we are getting here at the home of British Motorsport as we see Max Edmondson come out of club through the final corner. And does he improve as he comes across the start-finish line? Not too sure if he did. That was a 2-minute 12.237. He was just under a tenth off of his quickest lap time so far as we go on board with Andy Mellors, currently rounding out the top 12 in the number 24 Mercedes. And look at the gaps between the top 7 at the moment, Martin. Just over 5.5 tenths of a second between Blur and then Dave Marshall rounding out the top 7. That is incredibly close.
That bodes well for a great race. All of these guys very capable. I think first corner is going to be very, very interesting. You've got a couple of races here. You've got Dave Marshall. He's looking for championship. You've got the guys at the front looking for a win. It's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when we've seen the likes of Röhrig win, we've seen Rillig win earlier on in the season, it's been a lot more closely packed than some of the other VRRC championships that we've had previously. But it just goes to show that even though the GT4 machinery you see on your screens at home is very, very competitive, and it's great to see the likes of Harry Ormerod in the 77 BMW. He is currently at the moment down. Well, we're just waiting for him to set a competitive lap time because he's only got 2 minutes to do so. And if he can put a pretty quick lap in now, he's got an opportunity, because they're running on a 2-minute 11.8 at the top end of the spectrum here, Martin. It is all about having that particular opportunity, that if you can get across the line with 10 seconds to spare, the pressure's off, you can go and put in that lap. But when you get towards the end of it, it's all about making it nice, clean, consistent. When it looks slow, it normally is fast.
It is absolutely the banker in, and yeah, it's brilliant. 1 minute 30 to go. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, very, very true there, Martin, I must admit. Good to see that Paulo Ferreira on YouTube is cheering on his friends at Adrenaline eMotorsports, Andreas and Max. He says, go Andreas, go Maxi. 60 seconds just about on the clock as we go on board with Jack McIntyre in the number 3 1010 SRT BMW M4 GT4, as McIntyre will have the opportunity of putting in another flying lap. As now, look at this lap. Where has this lap come from Rob Butler? He is absolutely nailed in the Mercedes. McIntyre has got some work to do as he crosses the line. Does he improve on that particular occasion? No. 2 minutes 12.5, 36 seconds on the clock. Butler on provisional pole by just under 0.3 of a second, and here is the driver himself in the number 74. Butler put in a 2 minute 11.658. That put in 0.281 seconds ahead of McIntyre. Andreas Relic, in the meantime, has clawed his way back up to third place. Edmondson in fourth. Rohrig rounds out the top 5. Merrills, Marshall, Dorman, Scott Thorne, and Alex Toth-Jones round out the top 10. As the timer now will elapse and hit 0, which will conclude the end of qualifying. That's it. Relic is now coming down the national pit straight and heading into COP, so the checkered flag is out for the session. Rich Hayden has parked it in the pit lane and will finish in 11th at the moment. Kenny Press, the sole Chevrolet Camaro GT4, in 16th. James West will start 20th on the grid. And this is where it really comes down to the crunch here, Martin, because it is all about putting it on the line and pushing to the limit of adhesion, as we see Alex Toth-Jones now trying to make a move up from 10th position. And he's got James Merrills in the Pink Pig Porsche just behind. Then I think that's Max Edmondson in the background. But it's been really interesting how close it was. But then Rob Butler has put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons here at Silverstone.
Great lap by Rob again. James Merrill's really impressed me. Did I tell you about what we're doing on Friday evening with Jensen Button? And
yes, I do know about that. We'll come to that in a moment, because look at Rob Butler's time. He's gone and even pushed the envelope even further on that last lap. A 2 minute 11.525, which pretty much gives him the opportunity. It is down to Jack McIntyre if he can claw back nigh on just over 0.4 of a second, as we see one of the McLarens now about to cross the start-finish line. There is McIntyre in the number 3 BMW, but that is it. Rob Butler takes pole position for the halfway point of the season, round 5 here at Silverstone. What a great job by Rob Butler. Jack McIntyre and Andreas Hillig round out the top 3 ahead of Max Edmondson, with Maxi Rohrig rounding out the top 5, followed by James Merrills, Dave Marshall, Andy Dorman, Scott Thorne, Alex Toth-Jones. Rich Hayden starts in 11th position. Andy Mellors ahead of Mikko Raskinen, Tom O'Farrell, Max Coates, Kenny Press, Andy Carroll, Harry Omerod. Cat Empey will start in 19th ahead of James West, with Paul Laramie completing the top 21 positions. But yes, I understand there is a virtual 3 hours of Silverstone this coming Friday. Very, very interesting.
Yes.
Tell us all about it, Martin.
It's a great time for the mic to die on me.
Well, I can hear you loud and clear, but I understand that MSL and VRRC, along with SimSport Racing, Zancho SimSport, Silverstone Composites, and Simply Race are involved with this. It's a 3-hour race around here at Silverstone. Two driver teams, 3 mandatory pit stops, full random weather. And we've got 2009 Formula One World Champion and 2018 Super GT GT500 champion with Honda Team Kunimitsu, Jensen Button, running in the 22-720S GT3 alongside Chris Buncombe, I believe. That's really good, and really great to hear that MSL Motorsport Consultancy is involved. How did things happen? How did talks transpire between you guys to sort of come on board with it? Because it's a great event. I'm looking forward to watching it.
It's a great event. There's a charity element to it as well. Michael Yao is, as you know, we're very proactive with VRRC, Michael, and yeah, the opportunity came, and we just jumped at it. Absolutely brilliant. We've got Chuck Nola out with Max Coates in a GT3 Aston, and we've got Camping P and James Merrills out in the Cayman in GT4. So really looking forward to it. Friday should be exciting, and it just shows that virtual racing is just going from strength to strength, and I'm loving it. Never thought I'd say that, but I am.
That's really, really good to hear. And as they say here at the VRRC, esports is back. And it has been a staple of motorsports ever since things have got on. But it looks like I might be heading down to speak to a particular driver if we can get a hold of him. I'm going to have a quick chat with our pole man and see if we can speak to our pole position driver. I'll be back with you in just a moment, Martin. So, Rob Butler, that was an impressive lap around Silverstone, beating Jack McIntyre by over 4 tenths in that Mercedes. I was really, both myself and Martin, really impressed. But tell us, I mean, that car must have been absolutely cornering on rails here at Silverstone, that Mercedes.
Yeah, it's quite good round here. Fast, smooth circuits. It really comes into its own. It's a bit like Watson's Glen here in terms of setup. So we're quite dialed in from the start of the week in testing, and yeah, very pleased to be on pole again.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And obviously, the characteristic grunt of that Leviathan engine under the long snout on the Mercedes does help through the twisty stuff. I mean, especially when you're going through Cops, you're going then through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. I mean, apart from having the setup, you've got to have the right engine with it as well, and it seems like that's a good marriage between the pair.
Yeah, the gearing is actually quite good here with the ratios, which allows us to use the engine to anywhere kind of mid-range power, and this car is a monster. So yeah, I don't know what the BM's going to be like. We're going to find out in 2 minutes 50 seconds. So hopefully it'll be we'll get off the line and they won't drag past me down into one.
Okay, well, all the very best of luck. Hopefully you'll keep the lead going through Abbey, Rob. So we'll leave you to it to get yourself in the zone and get ready for racing. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
So a very emphatic pole position there, Martin, for Rob Butler in the number 74 Mercedes, and we are literally just a couple of minutes away. This is going to be interesting going into Abbey and Farm for the very first time. So I'm not holding any bets out on who's going to get into Abbey first, but it's going to be very interesting how many people are able to keep it on the black stuff for the first lap here, because it's not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, Rob loves it, doesn't he? He just absolutely nails it.
So yeah, so we're just under 2 minutes away from the first race, and Martin, having Silverstone as the halfway point here, it's a great circuit. It's fast, it's flowing, it's technical. It provides the bravest of the brave with the biggest amount of satisfaction for like say Rob, but obviously whoever comes out on top, winning both races here, being in the first 20-minute race, and then the reverse grid race, where we always know through the VRRC format can really change the dynamics of how a race evening goes for one particular driver. But we've seen drivers come through the field from the back of the grid to come through and win by a comfortable margin. I think that's going to be really, really interesting here this evening.
Yeah, don't write off Edmondson in the Audi. He was super quick last week, and I think this will suit him. And I think we are going to see a lot of schooling, bearing in mind how close the top 10 are.
Yep, so we've got Mark Hicks saying on YouTube, keep up the good work, Jack McIntyre, great second place. We've had a few good lucks sent towards all the drivers. We've had Emmanuel showing up saying, go Adrenaline boys, as they are lining up, ready for the first of two 20-minute races here at the 5th round of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries, being held here at Silverstone. Butler on pole, McIntyre alongside. And we are literally just a few seconds away from getting the green light to go racing. Once the 6 lights on the top left-hand corner of your screens at home go out, we will be racing. So wait for it, hold on to something. Lights are out, they are off and racing here at Silverstone. Great start there by Rob Butler to get the initial drag, but Max Edmondson up the inside of Andreas Hüllig going into Abbey for the first time, and he makes the move past up through into Farm Curve. But look at how quickly McIntyre is trying to pressurise Butler there going through. But Edmondson, you were very quick to point out there, Martin, that he was going to be very much danger, and there's been a bit of a melee a little bit further down towards the back part of the field. But Butler at the moment leads the field onto the hangar straight for the first time. McIntyre being chased down by Edmondson. Hüllig in 4th, Rohig his teammate in 5th, Dave Marshall in 6th, followed by Merrill's. Great job by Alex Toth-Jones to already get up into 8th place, but it looks like Scott Thorne trying to go up the inside of the Aston Martin, but Toth-Jones off the circuit, manages to rejoin safely, and he drops down to 10th position. But what a start there, Martin, by Rob Butler. He's already got a 6/10 of a second advantage over Jack McIntyre.
Just love that start. Bossed it all the way. Edmondson, he's going to be squabbling with McIntyre now, and Rob should break away.
Yeah, so it looks like there was a bit of contact, I think maybe between Alex Toth-Jones and Richard Hayden. There's been a few incidents. Tom O'Farrell having a moment. I think he was the one that was clattered into slightly by Andy Carroll. Looks like Kat MP's also had an off-track excursion. She's currently down in 19th, but the whole field making their way through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. There is Max Edmondson trying to close down on Jack McIntyre, and with the speed of the V10, or the V10 in that Audi, he's going to have a real chance of catching up to Jack McIntyre as Hüllig and Rohig in the adrenaline BMW pairing, still rounding out 4th and 5th at the moment. And Rohig looking towards the inside of his teammate, and he manages to get through just before the corner. Oh, a little bit of a tag between the two teammates there, but that is allowing Dave Marshall, and he's done the old dummy that Nigel would have done back in the day in Formula 1, and he's gone up the inside of Andreas Hüllig. The pair are side by side as they come across the start-finish line down into Abbey. Marshall will have the inside line on Hüllig this time around, and he slingshots past. Merrill's could have had an opportunity there, but he decides discretion is the better part of valor. But what a move there by Dave Marshall there.
Wasn't it super? He's been lining that up and nailed it out. Here goes James. He's fancying this.
Yep, so he's looking to try and get past Andreas Hüllig. Just behind is Andy Dorman. Alex Toth-Jones now has recovered up to 9th position, ahead of the Mustang. VRRC's very own Rich Hayden. O'Farrell rounds out the top 11 as there goes Merrill's up the inside of Hüllig. Nearly at a bit of a touch between the pair, but Merrill's makes it through up into P6. Hüllig trying to force the issue. Oh, a little bit of a tag between the left front of the BMW and the right rear of the Porsche, but great car control there by James Merrills to hang on to 6th position.
Very clean move.
So Jack Noller says fingers crossed for a good race, a great race. Well, you've definitely got that, Jack. I think you wished us a bit of lady luck on our side. Joseph Stewart goes, yes, Merrills. As a few cars going a little bit wide there. Oh, quite a few. I think Tom O'Farrell keeping it nice and clean. I think a few other drivers, probably the likes of Andy Mellors, I think went a little bit wide there as they're coming through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Just over 16 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Alex Toth-Jones closing on Andy Dorman and the BMW of Andreas Hüllig, as now Dorman looks for the opportunity up the inside, trying to go through into Stowe. That looks very close indeed. If Toth-Jones times this right, he could have an opportunity. But they go through Vale. Rich Hayden closing on the back bumper of the Aston Martin. Out late break from Rich Hayden. But look at that though, 4 cars, line astern, battling for 7th position. It is nip and tuck between the pair, as it looks like there's been a clash between Harry Omerod and Andy Carroll a little bit further down the order for 14th and 15th position. And Andy Mellors facing the wrong way, apparently. So Andy Mellors drops all the way down towards the back part of the field. So it's not been great for him. As now Alex Toth-Jones looking up the inside of the McLaren. Very, very close. Nearly contact between the pair. But 5 minutes in here, Martin, it is still all kicking off well and truly.
It is. Butler's checked out, I think, by the look of it. And McIntyre and Edmondson, yeah, nothing to choose between them. Yeah, it's all over the place, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, so James West is, well, aka Gamer Muscle, who will be streaming on Twitch to his 50,000 plus subscribers. He's currently 17th at the moment. Scott Thorne here looking to close on Rich Hayden, so it's the blue oval versus the three-pointed start, and still very close between the pair. But then you look at the spread here, Martin, between Helig, Dorman, Toth-Jones, Hayden and Thorne. That is getting closer and closer as every second gets wiped away from the timer that is now just over 14 minutes remaining still to go, plus one lap.
Yeah, there's a bit of a queue coming now. Yeah, this is great stuff. Thank you, guys.
So Rob Butler has a lead of 2.278 seconds ahead of Jack McIntyre. Max Edmondson is just a second behind the number 3 BMW in the battle for second position. We now turn our attention back a little bit further towards the likes of Andreas Hillig, Andy Dorman, Alex Toth-Jones, Rich Hayden and Scott Thorne, who is at the back of this 5-car train being led by the Adrenaline E-Motorsports BMW M4 GT4. And in terms of the lap times at the moment, I think at the minute, it's Rob Butler that's got the fastest lap time of anybody. He's put in a 2:11.517 at the minute, so he's really pushing the envelope, and he's now pulled another tenth or so on McIntyre. McIntyre did a 2-minute 12.224 gap, now over 2.2 seconds as Alex Toth-Jones nearly goes rally crossing, trying to get his way past Andy Dorman, but the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Aston Martin Vantage GT4 manages to get past. As now we're on with James West, aka Gamer Muscle, as tag between him and Harry Omerod a little bit earlier on. And yeah, that is definitely one of those things where you can just see that's a definite whoops, unfortunately, and you can just see the expressions on his face there. So it looks like Andy Carroll and Andy Mellors have also been compromised ever so slightly. But you can just see that despite no matter how many difficulties comes to James West's way, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always interacting with his Twitch streamers. So good on him for putting it out there. As Tom O'Farrell and Max Coates now ahead of Scott Thorne. Now Scott Thorne has actually had an off-track excursion, and that is going to drop him out of the top 15 very, very quickly if he's not careful. Looked like he put it on the curb and it just literally spat him out. So Scott Thorne, having run up as high as 11th place, now down in 15th, and he's nearly 1.6 seconds ahead of James West in 16th place. But still, all the while here, we're being treated to fantastic battling. And great to see Rich Hayden in the Mustang doing such a great job here, just behind Andy Dorman here, Martin. Well, it looks like that the likes of Alex Toth-Jones is being closed in once again by Andy Dorman. Rich Hayden in the Mustang looking a bit threatening now. So in realistic terms, we've got 11 minutes, but just to say, this great three-way scrap we're having here, Martin, is just absolutely brilliant. Just a treat to watch here in close GT4 action.
Isn't it, Justin, reflective of what goes on? You know, the Aston McLaren battle, and now the Mustang, they've got that going well. I just really enjoyed seeing James West's face when he was smiling when he was spinning. It's great to see his enthusiasm, isn't it? It was just no wonder he's got 50,000 followers.
I think at the end of the day, it's just being himself, and you know, you see so many great personalities that do streaming, you know, events like Jimmy Broadbent, Super GT, Steve Alvarez Brown, in other words. There's a lot of people that do stream when they're racing on Twitch, YouTube, and it's great to see how the esports racing world has been so much more embraced over the past few months, since March, and how things have just developed as we now have hit the halfway point here at Silverstone for race 1 out of 2, and still Jack McIntyre is being hunted down like Max Edmondson is the wolf and Jack McIntyre is the prey, and Max Edmondson has got the main beams lighted up on the front of that Audi R8 GT4, so he's coming thick and fast to try and get one up on Jack McIntyre. He wants another top 3 finish, but he wants to make it in the top 2, let alone being in 3rd place. Oh, now there was a bit of a tank slapper there for Jack McIntyre. Yeah, just caught the tail end of Jack McIntyre having a bit of a moment. The end of the car stepped out, and that has really allowed Max Edmondson to close up. We now go on board with the number 4 of Max Edmondson in the Audi. Going down the gears, down into 2nd, around about 50 miles an hour. Through now we will go into Club Corner before they come out of the final turn and head along the main straight. 105 up into 5th gear. Now let's see how committed they are going through into Abbey. They're going to have the foot to the floor. They're going to lift off around about 105 miles an hour in 5th gear. You can just see how hard he is pushing. But now looks like Rich Hayden is ahead of Andy Dorman. So the Mustang now up into 9th place behind the Aston Martin of Alex Toth-Jones. So Andy Dorman rounding out the top 10 as McIntyre runs a bit wide. That allows Edmondson to try and go up the inside. Does the Audi get through? I think he's made the move stick. No, it's side by side. And look who's in the distance just behind them. Maxi Herhig in the other BMW M4 from Adrenaline E Motorsports with 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Edmondson past McIntyre into 2nd place. Great move by the Audi driver.
Brilliant move. Saw that coming quite a way away, and he's kind of where I thought he might be. Rob Butler has checked out, but 7 minutes, good chase. Let's see if he can get clear now. Now he is clear.
Well, one of the biggest things here, Martin, is the fact that Maxi Herhig has got less ballast. He's got 10 kilos less ballast than Jack McIntyre. And I'm looking at the times. McIntyre last time around did a 2 minute 12.927. Max Herhig was nearly 0.8 of a second quicker on that last lap, as that's James West having got past Andy Carroll in the McLaren. So James West still battling away with him at the minute, and you can actually see the real-time footage in the middle part down at the bottom there. So Carroll has actually tried to get the position back, then he then responds, and West manages to still get through. So West up into 17th position, nearly a bit of a touch between the pair, as you can see via the official Twitch stream from Gamer Muscle himself. And you can just see the amount of information that these drivers actually have on their screens at home on their sim rigs. You know, he's got the tyre temperatures, he's got also all the relevant timings, he's got different camera angles for the Twitch streamers to watch. It's absolutely fantastic how much technology has evolved in sim racing and how in-depth it can be. So you can just see how close he is getting to Andy Carroll.
He's got the coolest backdrop I've seen in a race environment ever.
I was going to say that he's definitely got some nice miniature trees, miniature plants by his right-hand side and just behind him. But also the mood lighting probably gets him in the zone a little bit. I don't know. We'd have to ask him on that front. However, it's great. It's great to see that kind of thing where you see the different backgrounds. And people just being themselves, which is absolutely brilliant. We've got just under 6 minutes plus an additional lap of this race to go. Rob Butler has checked out by over 4.6 seconds. Make that 4.8. As now we are on board with Andy Dorman, who is battling away with Rich Hayden. The battle for 9th position still not over yet by a long shot. And look how close the McLaren is to the Mustang. And Dorman looked towards the inside there, but Rich Hayden very quickly shut the door, going onto the national pit straight. So great job there, and that was through Woodcut Now they head into the right-hander at Copse. And being there back in 2009 when Jenson Button was driving for Brawn GP, he didn't win that race, but hearing the cars go over the curbs coming out of Copse at around 180 miles an hour was definitely a joy to behold. As we now hit the 5 minutes marker to go, plus 1 lap. It's been a great performance so far, though, Martin, by Rob Butler. And as they say, we haven't been talking about the leader much. They've been doing a pretty sterling job at the front of the field. He's just checked out completely, got the good start, and just made good his intentions.
Yeah, brilliant. And James Merrill's, I can't speak highly enough of this guy. He's just made a great job of it. And he's broken the toe. Riddick is now 3 seconds behind him. So, yeah, great drive.
So, 4 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock to go. Butler leads from Edmondson, McIntyre, Röhrig, Marshall, Errolls, Rillig, Toth Jones, Hayden, and also O'Farrell rounds out the top 11. Max Coates up to 12th. Andy Mellors. Scott Thorne recovered now up to 14th. Paul Laramie, Harry Omerod, James West, Andy Carroll, Kenny Press, Mikko Raskinen and Kat Impey round out the 21 strong. So all drivers still competing here at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. 3.66 miles, 5.891 kilometres. And we are on to lap number 8. I think you're probably right there, Jerry B, on YouTube, that Game of Muscle is probably only streaming on his YouTube channel, not Twitch at the moment. So thank you very much for pointing that out. It's quite difficult when you're having to look at so much information on the screens, as we now go to Maxi Röhrig, and he is about 0.8 of a second from Jack McIntyre. So that ballast advantage that the German has isn't really helping at the moment, but nevertheless here, Martin, it's been a pretty good, consistent performance by Maxi Röhrig all the way through to this point in the season.
Yeah, he's been super, as is his teammate Rillig. They had an interesting Indianapolis, but they've been both very consistent. BMWs have been super thus far.
Yep, so we go into the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Plus 1 lap. Merrill's is about 2 seconds behind Dave Marshall, who, as we know before, both myself and Martin, we've had our fair chance of commentating on him through the second season of the Touring Car eSeries, which is a fantastic 10-week extravaganza. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Some great circuits we visited in that series, and I'm looking forward to seeing when Touring Car eSeries 3 gets any sort of mention. But GT4s at the moment, pride of place, front and centre here at the VRRC, as Röhrig absolutely nailing it, going through into Maggots, Beckett's and into Chapel, and then they'll go through into the Hangar Straight very shortly. But just the impressive performance that we've seen through, I think the whole field here, Martin, has just been such a joy to see. As here's Mikko Raskinen now battling away with James West for his 17th position. It's just been really, really impressive, and it's been incredibly professional from a lot of the drivers that have signed up to this championship. And a big thank you to Gorilla Mods for bringing such a great mod to this platform and enabling us to have so much variety of competition here at the VRRC.
Yeah, variety of competition, that's exactly it. It's great to see. All the drivers are just providing their own bit of entertainment and great racing. It's, as I've said, really enjoying the series, as I have done all the rest. Indeed,
it's been a pleasure, as always, having you along for the ride, so to speak. And as they say, variety is the spice of life, and that is what the Virtual Reality Racing Club continues to do here. We have got 39 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap still to go. And the way things are going, Rob Butler is absolutely flying. The Mercedes completely untroubled here in the first race at Silverstone at the current GP layouts, as he now will come through into club. And there is the number 74 Mercedes-Benz GT4. Loving the livery on that car. He's going to cross the line, and he's been running in the 2:11.8s at the moment. Has Rob Butler. So in this particular occasion, the timer now hits 0. Andy Mellors now trying to battle away with Max Coates in what has been a bit of a ding-dong battle there. And that is for 12th place on the road, but Andy Mellors gets a little bit sideways. Yeah, Max Coates' paintwork is looking a bit battered and bruised on the right-hand side, but he's not giving up. He's not giving Andy Mellors any opportunity as Mellors flashes the headlights ever so briefly as if to say, come on, Max, get out of my way. Well, I don't think Max Coates will take very kindly to that, Andy Mellors, I tell you that much. However, at the moment, just keeping an eye where Rob Butler is out on the circuit. He is currently on his way through Brooklyn,
that's Max
Luffield.
He's not going to give away.
As they say, elbows out, but Rob Butler now making his way through into Woodcote, and then we'll head down the National Pit Straight towards Copse as we're on board with James West. And this is absolutely fantastic battling. We've had great battles up and down the order here at Silverstone for the first of 2 races for the halfway point of the season. For round 5 of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries. Rob Butler now making his way through Maggots, Beckett's, and then into Chapel. Down towards the hangar straight before putting the power down to the floor here in the Mercedes AMG GT4. Under the Silverstone Bridge, Rob Butler being untroubled and has been absolutely dominant in qualifying. Max Edmondson a further 5.2 seconds adrift. Through into Stowe comes the Mercedes. A short blast up towards Vale and then through in towards the chicane before Club Corner. The brakes glowing red hot at the front of the Mercedes, as this time around it looks like it's going to be exultation and sheer delight and joy. Rob Butler, let's see, does it become a race victory for him? We are on the final lap of this race. So Rob Butler doing a great job so far. Maxi Röhrig trying to close the gap in the dying stages on Jack McIntyre, but McIntyre has responded. McIntyre not wanting to let go of that 3rd place. And just, it's been great battling all the way through this first race here, Martin. We know the reverse grid race 2 is going to change things a little bit, but what a way to start the evening.
Yeah, I don't think Röhrig's seen this up.
I think you're right. I mean, he's about 0.8 of a second adrift, and to be completely fair, you know, he's just been keeping it nice and polished. But on the top right-hand corner of your screen, going through Luffield and then into Woodcote, comes Rob Butler, and yeah, I think at the end of the day, Röhrig is trying to keep Jack McIntyre very, very honest indeed. Big thank you to Marcel and Mark on YouTube. Thank you very much for loving the live stream. It's a pleasure to be able to bring this to you all on a Tuesday evening, as Butler now comes through the fastest part of the circuit. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Now this is going to be the final time. The Mercedes powers its way under the silverstone.co.uk bridge, down the hangar straight. Just a couple more corners to negotiate, and it is job done for Rob Butler in the number 74 Mercedes. It's been an absolutely brilliant display from this driver, and he said to me earlier on post-qualifying, well, let's see if I can keep it into turn 1 and go for the win. He has definitely proven that in spades. Through into the chicane for the final time. Rob Butler in the number 74 Mercedes comes through Club Corner, and it is a victory for the number 74 of Rob Butler here at Silverstone for round 5. What a job, a fantastic victory. Max Edmondson, another top 3 finish for the 3rd race in succession, 6 seconds adrift. Jack McIntyre holds on to 3rd place in the number 37 BMW M4 GT4. Maxi Röhrig takes 4th ahead of Dave Marshall, James Merrills, Andreas Hillig, Alex Soth-Jones crosses the line for MSL Motorsport Consultancy in 8th, ahead of Andy Dorman. Rich Hayden rounds out the top 10 in the trusty steed, the Ford Mustang. Tom O'Farrell will cross the line in 11th. Max Coates very shortly will be crossing the line to take 12th place in the number 6 Aston Martin. Andy Mellors, Scott Thorne and Paul Laramie will round out the top 15 positions as Laramie, followed by Mikko Raskinen, cross the line and take 15th and 16th respectively. Harry Omerod pulled it into the pits. James West takes 17th ahead of Andy Carroll. Harry Omerod will take 19th. Here comes Kat Impey, and she takes 21st position in this race. Made it to the checkered flag, did the number 8. And that is that. What a race here. 20 minutes. Rob Butler absolutely dominant here, Martin. That just shows a sign of things to come for race 2, wouldn't you say?
I can't wait. Great drive, Rob Butler again. Yeah, very, very good performance. That Rob was, it was kind of, I guess he was confident after qualifying, but he just checked out.
I think one of the biggest moves that we saw in the first lap, obviously, was Max Edmondson going up the inside of Jack McIntyre in early doors, and that really set the pace for the Audi. So, we can't really discount him again because, looking at the results from Indianapolis, and he's also 7th in the championship, so he's running with a lot less ballast. He took 2nd in qualifying at Indy. He won race 1. He took 2nd in race 2. He's now taken 2nd here as well. It's still all to play for, isn't it?
He's super quick in that car. He's really got the Audi sorted out. And it looks like we've got Rob Butler and Max in the interview rooms if you want to crack on.
Definitely. I'll be back with you in just a moment, Martin. Well, Rob Butler, that was an absolute dominant display. 6 seconds was the margin of victory between yourself and Max Edmondson. You powered away. You got a great start. Max managed to get up the inside of Jack McIntyre going into Abbey for the first time. But you were very, very consistent. You were running, I think, consistently in the low 2-minute 12s. And I think your best lap was a 2-minute 11.396. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a good race. I've been trying to do a 10.9 all week, and on the last lap I said I'd have a bit of a go. I had a really good first sector, and look, once Jack pushed me hard for the first couple of corners, he drove really well. He nearly had me all crossed up coming out of turn 2, but once I got the break, I knew I had the opportunity to get away, and then it was just a matter of controlling the race from there. But a massive well done to Max and a massive well done to Jack. They drove superbly behind, especially Jack with the weight that he's got in the car. He's really, really, really doing well in the BM. So,
Rob Butler, that's your modesty. It becomes you. Great drive again. Absolutely nailed it. You broke the back of them, and then you just disappeared. Great drive, mate. Well,
if I could do that every week, it'd be great, Martin. But we're getting there. I'm starting to really get a good feel in the car. So hopefully we can come through in race 2. I'm not going to do anything silly. Hopefully the three of us can work together and get to the front.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah. Well done, Rob. Congratulations. Good luck in race 2. Max Edmondson. Another a race victory at the first race at Indy, and then a second. You've now taken another second here. You got a really good start. You got past Jack McIntyre quite early, but Rob was just too quick for you to catch, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I had quite a good start. Got from 4th to 3rd in turn 1, I think it was, and then stayed behind Jack for a bit. Got past Jack, and then tried to gap Jack, but Rob was really, really quick. I couldn't catch up to him.
But also, in terms of the championship, this helps you out as well because, you finished ahead of the likes of Andreas Hillig, Tom O'Farrell, Harry Omerod, who were all in front of you coming into this round after Indianapolis. And that really does help you. I mean, obviously, race 2 is a completely different kettle of fish in just a few minutes' time. But you're looking forward to that one?
Yeah, obviously, as Rob said, we just need to work together and try to get back to the front. So.
Well, we look forward to it. Well done, Max. Congratulations on your second place finish, and good luck in race 2.
Thank you.
So, well, before we get things back underway, let's go to a quick break, and myself and Martin will be back with you very shortly for the second and final race here for round 5 of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries, taking place here at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone.
Hello, I'm Dave Marshall, driver of the number 66 10/10 Coaching M4 GT4 car. This is your course preview of Silverstone Grand Prix track round 5. To go to turn 1, we're going to take a lot of the inside curve, carry all that momentum through turn 2, get back nice and far left towards turn 3, open up the corner as much as we can, but we want to stay right here before the hairpin left. Focus on getting good traction on exit. It's just going to allow us to get the best run possible all the way down the Brooklyn straight. There's a good chance in the lap just to have a nice little break. Nice bit of time to have a look at your splits and have a look who's in front of you or behind you. Braking heavy down towards Luffield. Little bit of the inside curve there. I tend to V this corner off, so run a little bit deeper into the apex. Off throttle and allow the car to cut back, trying to get nice and early on the throttle to give you the best run out the corner possible. Now we're heading down towards the old part of the track, what was the original start line. This is all about just carrying maximum corner speed through here, down 1 and gear down into 4th, a little bit of inside curve and straight back on the throttle. Heading down towards my favourite set of corners through Maggots and Beckett's. So make this first corner really shallow, drop it down the gear in towards the second set of corners into the tight left. Try to stay far left as possible just so we can get on the throttle nice and early. Head ourselves down towards the hanger straight. This is the second opportunity to have a nice little break and check on your split times or relative towards cars on the track. Going to go down towards Stowe here, really difficult braking area here, super late apex. Really blind of when to get back on the throttle, heading down towards the last chicane. Keep it really nice and tidy. Just try not to be too greedy on the throttle. A little bit greedy there, got a little bit sideways. Up into 4th, no brake need on the last corner, and across the line.
Right, okay, they are out and away in racing for the reverse grid race 2, as up the inside of Cat Impey goes Kenny Press flying into the side of the Porsche, and there's been a massive turnaround in the halfway point of the field, and that was one of the Mercedes. I think that might have been, I'm not too sure, possibly, well, it wasn't Scott Thorne, it might have been Andy Mellors, but an absolute melee in the reverse grid race, and oh, more turnarounds here. The carnage has well and truly started here at the home of British Motorsport, and it was all kicked off by Kenny Press going right into the right side as the other McLaren goes flying off. James Merrills gets turned around by Andy Dorman. Oh, nice bit of avoidance there by one of the 10/10 SRT cars. Oh my goodness me, heart in the mouth stuff. This is what I have missed here at the Virtual Reality Racing Club here. The carnage and bedlam that the reverse grid race 2 always provides here on a Tuesday night. Oh, I've missed this, Martin. I seriously have. But well, that was definitely an action-packed. It was like John Wick had decided to descend on Silverstone and cause carnage as Mikko Raskinen goes off track. Cat Impey again. I don't know whether she lost the back end on her own or whether she was assisted somewhat. But
there's just chaos all over the place.
But at the moment, Harry Ormond. Oh, Scott Thorne goes around, and that's one of the most demanding parts of the circuit. coming out of Beckett. So Harry Omerod leads from Andy Carroll. Max Coates up into third. Mikko Raskinen, Rob Butler, and Max Edmondson. You know what they were saying about, yeah, let's work together. Well, they've managed to work together and keep out of harm's way to really, really go for it. And it's definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons once again, as now James West finds himself outside of the, well, on the bottom part of the top 10, just behind Alex Toth-Jones in 9th, Andreas Relic just behind teammate Maxi Röhrig. Then it's Edmondson, Raskinen, Coates, Carroll, and Omerod. And the number 77 of Omerod leads the way as we go across the line to complete lap number 1. 17 and a half minutes still to go, plus an additional lap. Rich Hayden has just looks like he's running a bit slowly. Must have had a bit of a spin as Cat Impey, I think, nearly got compromised again by Kenny Press. I think got a little bit of a punt from behind by the Chevy. As contact between Rich Hayden and Cat Impey, and then Kenny Press just loses the back of the Chevy all on his own. Oh my goodness me. 3 minutes in, I think I've lost, I think there's been more incidents than I've had hot dinners here, Martin, if I'm completely honest. So now looks like Rob Butler has got his way past Mikko Raskinen for 4th place. But Butler runs a little bit wide. Raskinen takes the title line in the number 26 Porsche. Max Edmondson not too far behind as now Coates up the inside of Carroll. Oh, that's brave if you want to go through Woodcut like that. And Max Coates has tried to send it. Is he going to get it done through Copse? Not quite, because Carroll's got about half a car length ahead. Raskinen just on the back bumper of Butler, who's got the ringside seat. What is going to happen between Coates and Carroll? Butler looking to filter through just afterwards. But at this particular moment in time, Andy Carroll keeps his nose ahead of Max Coates in the battle for second position. And I think Jerry B says on YouTube, and I'm completely agreeing with this one, this is a bonkers start. Love it. Well, that's the party piece of the Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries. We've seen it in multiple championships that the VRRC have run before. As now that's Butler up the inside of Coates. Nicely done. I think he got a little bit of a tag there though in the process. That's not the place where you want the back end to step out. And now he's going to go up the inside. Oh, now he clashes door panels ever so slightly. And that was through the chicane just before Club Corner. And Max Edmondson has lost out big time. He's hit the bottom of the top 10 and comes back just in front of Tom O'Farrell. But Rob Butler here, Martin, has really, really charged forward as Coates trying to get past Raskinen through into Abbey and into Farm Curve. Rob Butler has now got Harry Omerod in his crosshairs.
Yeah, he's going to go after him now. It's difficult to know where to watch here. I think Michael in production is doing a great job of following what is going on, but there's so much going on. It's going to be great to watch back.
Yes, definitely. I think this is one of the highlights, I think, of many championships that I've commentated on. Is now Andy Carroll trying to go side by side with Mikko Raskinen. Up towards next corner, Raskinen will have the advantage going to the chicane. Late brakes, nearly a tag on the back bumper of Max Coates, who keeps ahead in 3rd position. So Raskinen now ahead of Carroll in 4th. Röhrig and Relic, the 2 Adrenaline e-motorsport cars, not too far behind the top 3, not too far behind Max Coates, who rounds out the top 3. 14 minutes and 15 seconds to go here at Silverstone. And Butler hounding Omerod going through Copse Corner. The challenge for the lead is well and truly on, and Butler pulling out towards the right-hand side of the BMW. The Mercedes does have the legs going down into the faster parts of the circuit as they now go through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel, but Omerod hangs on by a whisker. But Butler will now get the run coming out of the hangar straight. We go on board on the front bumper cam of Rob Butler under the silverstone.co.uk bridge we head. And now he goes towards the left-hand side. He's pulling alongside the BMW. Is he going to park it round the outside or power past before we even hit Stowe? No, he goes side by side with the BMW. Absolutely brilliant and well-controlled respect between the pair of them. But Rob Butler, with 13 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock, going through Vale, plus a lap. He gets the lead away from Harry Omrod. Perfectly timed, well positioned, and nailed it like it was absolutely nothing.
Absolutely did again. But look behind. Behind Alex Toth-Jones. There's a massive tail of cars. Yeah, there's going to be all sorts of fun here. This isn't over. The entertainment goes on.
Well, it looks like Tom O'Farrell trying to challenge James West. He's got Andreas Rillig, as O'Farrell trying to go at the outside of West, but West has none of it, and then looks towards the inside of Rillig. And this is coming through now. It looks like, now there's been a little bit of a touch between the pair. So O'Farrell gets the elbows out, muscles his way past, going down towards the far part of the circuit. So they're going to go through Brooklands, through into Luffield, and then into Woodcote. Jack McIntyre closing on the back bumper of James West. As now Rillig trying to go up the I think that is that Rillig trying to go up the no, that's Rillig up the inside of Carroll. Here comes Edmondson. He's back on a charge in the Audi as now they make their way through. Great job there by Max Edmondson. He is absolutely flying. The Audi, Ingolstadt's finest, trying to bear down on the Munich machine of Maxi Rillig. And this is going to get very close as they're now heading into Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. Don't tell me they've gone side by side between the pair of them. That is between Coates and Omrod, and Coates got the upper hand going through the inside of Maggots. Great job by Max Coates.
There, Max. Great move by Max.
That was definitely not a banzai moment there, I must admit. He just literally positioned the car exactly where it needed to be. And then you look where Maxi Rillig is just behind Harry Omrod. He's about 7.5 tenths of a second adrift. Don't count out Max Edmondson. Andy Carroll is in the thick of the action, as is Mikko Raskinen. Andreas Rillig now goes up the inside of Tom O'Farrell. And this is the battle for 8th position. The front end of Tom O'Farrell's McLaren 570S. Scott Thorne. Well, no, Max Edmondson. Max Edmondson's off the track again. Twice in the same race. And with just over half of the timer still left to count down, Max Edmondson again suffers dramas. He's been pushing like crazy, that guy, but it has really, really caught him out once again. And it's at one of the fastest parts on the circuit. As now, Maxi Rillig in the Adrenaline Motorsports BMW M4 GT4, now trying to close on the number 77. As again, Rillig on O'Farrell. But watch out for Toth-Jones in the Aston Martin just behind. He's close up. Not too far behind him is Jack McIntyre. So this is really getting all close and personal. As now Toth-Jones sends it up the inside of Rillig. Will he get the job done this particular occasion? I think Rillig will have the inside line for the next corner. But Jack McIntyre looking towards the outside of Alex Toth-Jones and the number 11 Aston Martin. As we go on board with the number 11 itself, down the bottom right-hand corner of your screens, across the old start-finish line, across the National Pit Straight, as at the top left-hand corner of your screen, Rillig is trying to put the pressure on Omrod, but Omrod is not buckling. Not a chance is he going to squander this opportunity for a podium here at the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries 5th round, and it's on his own home soil. So he will definitely want to keep British pride and that stiff upper lip showcasing front and centre. He's keeping the German at bay, but Rillig not backing down. It is a fight all the way down to the checkered flag, but Omrod again keeps in front of Rillig, but Rillig gets the switchback, tries to make the move through. He's going to nearly go side by side, and at the minute you can see on the indicated screens Rillig trying to go for it, and this time Omrod keeps the pressure on. Rillig back up the inside, still mano a mano, it's no quarter given. They come out of club corner, and again Harry Omrod keeps Maxi Rillig at bay for 3rd position. But all the while, this is bringing Mikko Raskinen and Andy Carroll into the equation as Jack McIntyre trying to close on Alex Toth-Jones for 9th position. This is absolutely stupendous. All the way up and down the order, we've got just over 8 minutes and 10 seconds, plus an additional lap still to go. Rob Butler has checked out for the second time of the evening, 5.5 seconds ahead of Max Coates. Wow, wow, wow. I am absolutely blown away with the performance of Rob Butler this evening.
He's been on it, and it's just a class act. Great drive by Max Coates. He's just loving it.
Yeah, and he's also pulled a 3.2 second gap over Harry Omerod. This is absolutely intense, as still McIntyre's got his way past Alex Toth-Jones for 9th position. So the 10 tenths SRT BMW M4 of McIntyre will now start to hunt down Andreas Hillig, as now Maxi Röhrig again trying to get one up on Harry Omerod. But Omerod in the 77 BMW not giving up. He's not wanting to relinquish that place. Andy Carroll has the ringside seat as Maxi Röhrig now starts to flash the headlights on his BMW. You can sense a little bit of frustration seeping in with the German, but the thing is that Harry Omerod is doing his absolute best to try and keep Maxi Röhrig at bay. They're now going to head down towards Stowe Corner, and the good thing for Andy Carroll and also Mikko Raskinen here, Martin, is that they're literally, whilst these two are battling away, you can just see how close Andy Carroll got going through into Stowe and now into Vale. The McLaren and the Porsche behind have really got a good opportunity, because if Omerod and Röhrig tangle, both of those drivers are going to profit.
Absolutely, and you can see by that graphic, there's a lot going on all the way down through the field. Great racing, loving this.
So Rob Butler has the fastest lap. He's done a 2 minutes 11.938 as we are on lap number 7, and again the battle royale for third place still waging on. Harry Omerod is placing his BMW exactly where he needs to, as we go back down to Max Edmondson in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, as there's been a little bit of a clash between the pair, but Maxi Röhrig looks to have seized the advantage and has got past Harry Omerod for third place. This could open the floodgates for those drivers behind. Paul Laramie and Scott Thorne have had a clash, and Laramie looks to have come off worse, as now Maxi Röhrig still keeping ahead, and it's nearly 3 abreast between the cars behind. But look, Raskinen trying to go up the inside of Andy Carroll there, and Omerod has lost out, and he's lost out to Raskinen. And if he's not careful, what's going to happen is that Andy Carroll, then you've got Tom O'Farrell, Jack McIntyre factoring to this now. Then look, just behind you've got Andreas Hillig, Alex Toth-Jones, and James Merrill. This is going to be an absolute barnstormer with just over 5 minutes plus a lap still to go here. Craziness.
Yeah, James Merrill got spun out early on, but he's made a great drive back to catch up with this lot. Sadly, Katim, he's had a technical failure which has put her out of the race. Shame, she was going well. But yes, look at this lot. What could possibly go wrong?
It's like children fighting in a playground, isn't it? But the playground just happens to be Silverstone. As now it looks like that's going to be McIntyre on Carroll, and that will be for what is effectively 7th position. So Jack McIntyre now in the 37 has got in front, but Carroll looking to try and go back up the inside of the BMW, and you can just see how many dented panels these cars have. But hang on a minute, what on earth, where did that come from Tom O'Farrell? He literally put it around the outside of Andy Carroll, and then on the very next corner he's got past Jack McIntyre. Tom O'Farrell absolutely flying. McIntyre responds, gets past O'Farrell, and I think we'll get past Omeron in the process, and that is through that's absolute madness there. Just literally O'Farrell nearly making it 3 abreast going in to Abbey. Oh my goodness me, hearts in the mouth moment. 3 minutes and 50 seconds plus 1 additional lap still to go into what will effectively mark the halfway point of the VRRC GT4 eSeries campaign. But Martin, wow.
That was a great move from Farrell. The others were squabbling and he just went around the outside of them. That was brilliant. Very, very cheeky.
Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of contact between them at that particular moment in time.
And Farrell's got Omeroid. So Yeah, 5th place, Farrell. Demon drive.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. And now it's side by side between the two BMWs nigh on. But Omron keeps ahead of McIntyre. Andy Carroll just behind. And it looks like there's been a little bit of a touch between... yeah, I think there was a little bit of a clash maybe between Andreas Rillig and Alex Toth-Jones. But Rillig has ended up worse off. He's down in 14th position. So that has changed everything. We go into the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds plus an additional lap. And in many respects, this is... Look at the gap now. Rob Butler, you absolute charlatan. That is a country mile. I think he's gone from Northamptonshire into Cambridgeshire with that gap he's got there at the moment. But there goes McIntyre back up the inside of Omrod for now retaking 6th position. Just complete madness. And now James Merrills and Alex Toth-Jones battling away over 9th. The Porsche trying to get the jump on the Aston Martin. Coming down the hanger straight, but Toth-Jones will have the inside run. But Merrills trying to keep it around the outside. This is very, very close between the pair. But that could have opened the door for Andy Dorman in the McLaren just behind. But what a job there. Great respect between the two MSL Motorsport Consultancy drivers. One in the Aston in the form of Toth-Jones and the other one in the form of Merrills in the Porsche. But still, we have just over 1 minute and 45 still to go. Rob Butler is absolutely flying. We've had a... looks like we've had a drive-through penalty for Andy Mellors. That might be through for speeding in the pit lane, possibly. I'm just keeping an eye on the actual live timing screens that we're provided with. But you can just see...
Merrill's having another go.
I'm sure that's saying... I'm wondering whether Alex Toth-Jones will probably be thinking, James, thou shalt not pass.
Phil Thompson, our media and marketing guru, and you just go racing, guys. Where you are now, just keep the attention on the brand.
Spoken like a true PR professional. And he's a good bloke as Phil as well, having initially done that great interview with the Ask Alex interview that I did with Alex a few weeks ago. So
yeah, he's a top, really is.
Yeah, definitely a good guy and a blooming good racer as well. A good egg. But now we come into the last 30 seconds. Rob Butler's lead is around 12 seconds or so. But now here comes James Merrills. He's going to try and go past, and he does. Oh, that was definitely threading the eye of the needle through Maggots and Beckett's. James Merrills, I doff my cap to thee. But watch out for Alex Toth-Jones, because he's not going to give up. And look, there's Max Edmondson. Is that Max Edmondson? That is Max Edmondson. He's trying to get past Alex Toth-Jones. And he's going side by side with the Aston Martin. Oh, this is going to be hairy. But Max Edmondson, I think, has got the inside on Alex Toth-Jones. Yeah, good work, Max Edmondson. They do, unfortunately, he's had lightning strike him twice with 2 off-track excursions as the timer hits 0. Here at Silverstone for the conclusion of the 5th round of the MSL Motorsport Consultancy Virtual Reality Racing Club GT4 eSeries. Rob Butler is now making his way through Village and into the loop. So after this, it will be one. Now I'm wondering, did he cross the line just after? I think he crossed it. I think this could be the last lap. I'll just wait for my broadcast director just to confirm that, because... So, okay. So in many respects, this time around, we will have one more lap after this, but Rob Butler has absolutely trounced the field, hasn't he, Martin? Just a dominant display all the way through this evening.
Yeah, another lap. Delighted.
It means that we get to see some of this more. Look at the amount of damage that Alex Toth-Jones has got on the right-hand side and the left-hand side of that Aston Martin. Then you look at Andy Dorman's front bumper on that McLaren. That's definitely not going to buff out there, unfortunately. Max Edmondson, in the meantime, has got past James Merrills. But it's just been a fantastic event this evening here at Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport. The first circuit to host a Formula One Grand Prix back in 1950, which was 70 years ago, as Harry Ormerod has had a turnaround, and I think there was a little bit of contact between him and Andy Carroll, which put the number 77 facing the other way. So that's a real shame after that great defensive drive that he's done. But now, look at this. Max Coates being closed in on by Maxi Röhrig. Röhrig has not given up and has not wanted... He wanted to go for the victory, but Rob Butler has been the driver that has really had everyone's number this evening. And checkered flag is going to be out, and that is job done for Rob Butler. Rob Butler has done it again, I think. Yes, he has. So it's 2 for 2. Pole position. And I think he's also got the fastest lap. He's done a 2:13. What a great job by Maxi Röhrig, but he misses out by a mere fraction, I think, between him and also Max Coates at the flag.
Yeah, I think Mac's been to Q branch to make that Aston even wider than it was. Brilliant drive, Max.
So 2/10 of, it was literally nothing there between the pair of them as they crossed the line. Still a bit of argy-bargy. Andy Dorman barges his way past Kenny Press. So Rob Butler takes a second successive victory here at round 5 at Silverstone. Max Coates and Maxi Röhrig ran out the top 3. Mikko Raskinen and Jack McIntyre ran out the top 5 ahead of Tom O'Farrell. Max Edmondson, after 2 off-track excursions, comes back to finish 7th ahead of James Merrills. Andy Carroll and Alex Toth-Jones round out the top 10 ahead of Dave Marshall, James West, Scott Thorne, Harry Ormerod. Andreas Rillig finishes in 15th ahead of Rich Hayden, Paul Laramie, Andy Dorman, Kenny Press and Kat Impey rounding out the 20 strong. But it looks like we've got some interviews to do before we close things off. Well, I think what you said to me completely was well and truly given a foundation when you said, yeah, it just needs me and Max to work together and get through all the trouble. And when everything went a bit haywire just in front, we saw that Max did have a couple of off-track excursions, which didn't mean that he would follow you up the order, but he finished in 7th. But to come away from Silverstone with a whopping gap, I think you'd been virtually been able to make yourself disappear from where Silverstone is and get yourself into Cambridgeshire with that lead you had at the checkered flag, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well, look, the reverse grid's difficult. You know, I made the decision before I went off the line that I was just going to let it all happen in front of me, try not to get collected, and yeah, then once it all settled down a bit, I could chip away from there. Yeah, it was good. Mr. Coates is always difficult to pass, and yeah, he knows it too. So once I got through Max, I knew I was all right from there.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations. Great job this evening, Rob, and good luck next time out in a week's time.
Thank you.
Yeah, delighted for you, Rob. Great drive again, mate. Love watching it.
Yeah, it's been good. Still waiting for that call from MSL, but maybe this week, eh?
Yeah, yeah, it's on its way.
You've got my Discord. Cheers, Martin.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Well, many congratulations to Rob Butler. 2 victories and pole position. Max Coates, 2nd place. Well done, buddy. A bit of a carnage there in race 2, but obviously you still had a really good first race as well. You know, it was close between you and Maxi at the end of the race there, wasn't it, coming across the line, coming out of club?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it was comfortable. It was. I've kind of been thrown in a little bit at the deep end. I've not really driven one of these GT4s before this afternoon. Well, this evening. So yeah, I just kind of tried to get up to date with it, and I've been following it as it's been going along. And without doubt, I knew Maxi was one of the fastest drivers in the race. So I knew it would only be a matter of time before he was catching me up, but I managed to hold on to it.
Well done. Great job this evening. And yeah, glad to have you with us, mate.
Cheers, thanks, and thanks Martin and Brendan and Rich for the guys getting me in at Team MSL. So it's good fun.
Yeah, well, just good practice for Friday, mate. So looking forward to that.
Me too. Can't wait. Should be good.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
And last but by no means least, we have to speak to Maxi Röhrig from Adrenalin E-Motors. Maxi, erstens herzlichen Glückwunsch für heute mit dritter Platz in den zweiten Rennen. Du war ziemlich schnell heute Abend. Was denkst du über die ganze beiden Rennen bei Silverstone?
Ja, das erste Rennen, da bin ich ja Vierter geworden. Das war ziemlich cool. Hatte ich Glück und bin gut durchgekommen. Und hier im zweiten Rennen, da hatte ich 2 super gute Fights mit dem Harry und mit dem Max. Und ja, da konnte ich mich auch relativ gut durchschlagen und bin ja zufrieden, dass ich auf dem Podium auf Platz 3 stehe.
Okay, vielen Dank und viel Glück für nächste Woche. So basically, Maxi was saying that effectively, he's very pleased with the 4th place in race 1. And then race 2, very close, having good racing between him and Harry and also with Max. So good to have some German drivers with us and some great international competition. Last but by no means least, the man behind the Virtual Reality Racing Club, Rich Hayden, joins us. Rich, again, another fantastic evening of racing here at the VRRC. GT4 really doing great kudos for us, but also the fact that how MSL Motorsport Consultancy have really been able to help us push this forward, but also to have great international racing talent on a sim racing platform.
And once again, Alex, thank you very much for stepping in and helping out with the comms. Great job as usual. Interesting evening. But I'm not quite sure, obviously, what that looked like on the stream. Hopefully it was entertaining for everyone.
Yeah, it was very.
Richard, it was the entertainment.
Excellent. And hopefully you saw the Mustang going sideways plenty.
Yes, we did. We did indeed. But at least the good thing is we're glad to see that you're having that. You're representing the Mustang on the grid here in the GT4 eSeries as always, and it's a pleasure to be back for you guys here at the VRRC. I'm really looking forward to keeping up with all the action and obviously any future developments that you guys have in the pipeline. And I know there's a lot of stuff happening behind closed doors, but yeah, good to see some great racing this evening here.
Very much. Yeah, we've got VRRC and MSL has a 2-car entry in the 3-hour endurance race at Silverstone this Friday, run by SimSport Racing and Jensen Button with Team Rocket. So really looking forward to those cars. So it's going to be fun. We've also got a TT Cup running on Thursday evenings as well. And we have a plan for a Porsche Carrera Cup coming soon. And then going on to the big boys with Mini Challenge Season 2, official Mini Challenge. And then we've also got a touring car season coming up soon as well.
Brilliant. So obviously you can see on your screens briefly there that we do also have the Audi TT Cup running here at the VRRC with Jack Oliphant and Steve Proudley also doing commentary on that. So thank you very much to everyone joining us here at Silverstone. Martin, it's been a pleasure once again joining you in the commentary box. So that's it from us here at the VRRC. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Good night. And we'll see you very soon in just a week's time. Take care. the inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.